Well, I've got a couple things to say. I've had them to say since last night, but recently my aunt, the one who I lived with when I lived in Whitewood, Virginia, for getting in trouble pretty much every school locally. I always did well in school. I was an honor student, but I was an aspiring drug dealer, which was the stupidest shit ever. But yeah, so basically after being told not to come back to all the schools here, I lived with her. She's beaten cancer after 6 years. She was given 6 months to live. She's lived 6 or 7 years later, but all the chemo she's had for 6 years straight has wreaked havoc upon her, and she's in the hospital right now. So that's why it's getting up a little bit later than anticipated. But anyways, so there's a whole situation, a whole conundrum of things happening right now with Alan. And I feel for the guy because Alan, I see him as somebody who, well, first off, he's got such a moral compass and set of rules about himself that it's right and wrong, moral, immoral, and just got respect for that. So anyway, I believe he would drive in a car right now to go handle something as long as he felt like it was a safe place, would not cause him to be put in jail or prison. He's not one of those people that's going to jump then think later. He's going to make sure. But I believe if he felt like there was a safe place that something could be handled at, he would go there right now. So, for those of y'all who know who I am, you know that I started this channel when I had a shoulder injury. If you go back to the start of my videos, see me wincing in pain. I had a partially torn, my shoulder torn rotator cuff from a Kimura, which is a submission that happened in training. I did 5 years in federal prison, and before I went to federal prison, a couple years on bond, I trained 4 hours a day, 6 days a week. That's because back then all we had was Fleece Johnson and stuff like that. So, we didn't have prison YouTube. So I thought, Fleece Johnson might get my butt. Better start training. It is what it is. And, yeah, 2 years of training, I got a very basic grasp. But it was an incredible amount of knowledge, compared to the actual untrained person. So once I got out, another series of stuff happened, with the original person I trained with, him getting convicted of some stuff, some awful things. I have basically trained 4 days a week. I trained twice a day, 5 hours total. 3 days a week, I trained 3 hours a day, once each day. Even Sunday in judo with Olympia and Tart Monair. We have a couple national champions at our gym. Paulo Santana, two-time world jiu-jitsu champion, two-time Pan American champion, two-time Brazilian national champion, and one-time Abu Dhabi champion. I'm a blue belt under him, brown belt under Tarek. And then Scott Cujo Sigmund, he's multiple weight class WBC champ, and Roy Jones Jr.'s most recent opponent prior to Roy fighting Mike Tyson. He went the distance with Roy in Roy's hometown. And then another person named Bruce Abramski. Bruce Abramski, his wife Melissa, my mom, her mom knew each other, and were friends. So we basically that worked out really well. Cause Bruce, he's got a fight coming up too. He's a professional. He's somebody who fights on pay-per-views. He has his own gym, and he's incredibly successful in what he does. But basically, before I started this YouTube thing, I don't go out, don't club, don't go to restaurants. I don't have a social life, never had a social life outside of training. And even then, my only friends are in training. And even then, none of them have been over to my house. Yeah, I know, it's odd. I'm a recluse. Me and my fiance, we're just not the most social people. It's nice, but then you go out and you do it, and we thought, rather be at home. So, I've made some great friends on YouTube. Made some great friends in the comment section. I think got the best people on the planet. And I say that repetitively because I really do believe I have the best audience of anybody. If you have a problem and you have addiction, mental health, whatever, you can come on my comments and, somebody's going to bring you up. And in terms of somebody, being an awful dick, in terms of, well, this is everybody's and all that. No, the people who are in my audience, I'm not going to deal with somebody sassing them or putting them down or, trying to verbally destroy them and rip them apart. That's not something I put up with. And I do leave paragraphs, pages worth of responses. This past month has not been as good as I typically do. But, I love my audience. But anyway, Zebby and Alan, the amount of research, Zebby's incredible too. He's like, finds stuff, it gets deleted 10 minutes later, he's got it saved, and somehow he's got a video of it. But they've been an incredible couple of people. Rick from Vegas, Profile Stories now, formerly Prison Stories, has become an incredible friend too. Never would have imagined, have a number of friends that made on YouTube. Never would have imagined I'd be a YouTuber or whatever. Started this 10 months ago, and it's snowballed into what it is now. And as you know, but anyway, my point is, certain talk about certain things. In terms of street beefs, I think it's incredible what they've done. They've become a national phenomenon. It's an incredible thing that they've created. But in terms of like regulation, professionals watching, and stuff like that, the reason they stop when there's blood is because nobody's tested. So that would give me the heebie-jeebies. I'm a hypochondriac. As those of y'all who know, I got somebody else's test result. So yeah, I had AIDS for 10 minutes once. Wasn't fun. Yeah, so that's oh god, that'd be awful. Fighting somebody untested. But anyhow, so there are certain routes, certain regulations in terms of a sanctioned fight. Certain things that have to happen with people being tested, a number of other things, and with the amount of flakeouts I've seen in terms of fights and people showing up and doing it, it is like nearly next to none that it actually happens. So setting up something that would be like, you know, a prison YouTuber fight in a matter of just a couple months, I do not see that being a possibility, because the amount of fights that I've seen fall through, not happen, complete just. But what, you know, I can offer, me, you know, I think a one-on-one fight is sacred. I do not like people jumping people. I do not like people interfering. I do not like running your mouth so much but not getting down to it. To me, there's just a certain point of, what are we doing here? Why don't we just go ahead and get this done? And then maybe afterwards, you know, we might be friends. It could happen. Unlikely, but, you know, it could happen. So what I can offer is the last 5 years of my life, the friends that I've made, the connections I've made, the people that I've met throughout the whole entire process. I can offer a location. If this is something that's seriously going to get done, come up with a date in which people can come, and I can offer a place. And now everybody likes to talk about, you know, they got gangsters, they got this, they got that. And in terms of, you know, actual gangsters, okay, the people that I'm talking about, it would be at their gym. So it's a professional gym, professional fighters, of people that could dismantle the average human in less than 10 seconds, like just completely just embarrass them, put them out, put them done. You're not going to go to their house, and you're not going to go to my friend's house because they're my friends or my family. You're not going to go there, and you're not going to have people that make a mockery of this. So what I can offer, and I can promise, and anybody that knows me, anybody that's heard me speak about this, it's something I feel very, very strongly about. So I can offer a place. If you guys would like to do this, I can help. I can help with that. In terms of selling, you know, tickets and the whole thing, if that's something that's going to happen, I'd really like to know who's promoting it, because there's a 99.9% chance, if there is somebody that's promoting it that is legitimate, that within one phone call I can get information on whether they're legitimate or not from Bruce Abramski, from Scott Sigmund. Scott does pretty much all the boxing matches in the western half of Virginia. And, you know, also in South Carolina, he's got some stuff that goes on there. Bruce, EWC, Elite Warrior Challenge, EWC. He owns that promotion, along with being a professional fighter. Between them, they, within a phone call, find out if something's legitimate, if it's bogus, what it is. So, yeah, I can offer a place. Can offer a place where nobody's going to get ambushed, nobody's going to get jumped, that everything will be held, and it will be two people, and they will handle their business, and that'll be the end of it. Nobody will act up. I can guarantee you that. I promise you that. That's one thing that I can offer, one thing that I can promise. Just something else, you know, just for reference too, because I saw something, figured I'd bring it up. I hate to even say it. Lance I asked him. It sounded like some, it was mentioned that he's going to be there. He's going to be at this thing. No, he's not. I spoke to him. That's not something he's committed to, is interested in. He's doing his own thing. For whatever reason, his name keeps getting brought up. I'm pretty sure it's because he's been on Street Beefs before. I'm pretty sure it's because, whatever. Because he's established because he's somebody. And if somebody calls him out, his name, he's going to say, speak up for himself. But, I mean, leave the man alone. Let him live his life. Let him just, do his thing. It's just annoying to me. So anyway, if this is something that's really going to happen, and you want an answer, you want a simple answer to, a way that it can happen, holler at me. Can make it happen. And it doesn't have to be all this complicated mess and all this complicated stuff and all this run around. Lord have mercy. It doesn't have to be all that. So anyway, just a thought.